So it's very busy. The legislature has to approve a new court, a new judge, and all the other political actors involved, the county commissioners, the city council for Medina, myself, all have to be on board to do that. I'm hopeful we're going to get there in Medina in the next couple of years.
I see.
But the other hitch is that we need a courtroom and a building.
They had a new building, and,
Right.
and when it was built, it was designed with 2
Right.
courtrooms, which ours is not.
Right. That's what we're looking to do.
I see.
Okay.
Well, I guess we better have a venue before we do that.
The Supreme Court requires a commitment from the city and the judge to have a facility ready for when a new judge starts.
Makes sense.
So you
Makes
have to make
sense.
that commitment ahead of time,
And
so you
that's-
don't have a judge elected and have to put him in a tent outside the building. Okay.
Well, that's okay. Well, I've often wanted to ask that question, and now I know. And hopefully some of our viewers had the same question. Judge, of this rather large load of cases, almost 20,000 that come through your doors, what are some of what kind of cases are they? I mean,
Well, municipal courts are an amalgamation of different things. We hear criminal cases, we hear civil cases, and they vary from a very wide variety of both civil issues and criminal issues. I'll see on average about 800 DUIs a year. Over the last 5 years, that's the average. It's varied between as low as about 600 and as high as about 1,100 in a year.
yeah.
Then I'll see another 2,000 or 2,100 criminal cases.
What type of? I mean, they're of a misdemeanor.
All misdemeanor crimes. I'll see some felonies, but I only see felonies for what's called preliminary hearing.
Yeah.
To set bond, determine if there's probable cause, appoint an attorney to represent somebody, and then that case goes over to the common pleas court.
But when we talk about a misdemeanor, Judge, and I think I know what it means, but for the benefit of our viewers, define that.
A misdemeanor is a crime for which the period of imprisonment cannot or jail cannot exceed a year.
Okay. It
Okay.
can't go over 1 year.
Can't go over a year. Now the fines increase and decrease, but the maximum fine in a municipal court for a misdemeanor is $2,500 about, and that is for a third offense within 6 years for operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah.
Generally, misdemeanors are classified as a minor misdemeanor, which is like a speeding offense, to a 4th degree, 3rd degree, 2nd degree, and 1st degree, and the penalties increase as you move up.
I see.
The general penalty for a 1st degree misdemeanor, which is the most serious type of case that would be tried in a misdemeanor trial court like a municipal court, is up to 6 months in jail, up to a $1,000 fine.
Okay.
That would be offenses like assault, domestic violence, telecommunications harassment, a whole series of things, some theft charges. Underage consumption of alcohol is a 1st degree misdemeanor.
I see.
So you have that whole series, and then you go down to lesser offenses like a minor misdemeanor like disorderly conduct, or a little bit more serious offense, 4th degree misdemeanor like criminal trespass, being on someone's land without permission. So you get that varied group
Sure,
from an assault
sure.
or a very serious offense like a DUI or a domestic violence to a disorderly conduct charge or a criminal trespass charge.
Well, that clears it up rather nicely, particularly when you get into naming the crimes, and I think our viewers would appreciate that. Because I think there's a lot of confusion there, and the penalty is affixed to the crime, and
Right.
that's going to be your jurisdiction.
Right. In addition, because that's only criminal and traffic or criminal and DUIs, we have over 10,000 miscellaneous traffic cases every year.
That would be your speeding.
That's the
and
speeding,
turn
stop
signal.
sign, turn signals, but traffic cases also include driving under suspension, which is a 1st degree misdemeanor, up to 6 months in jail, up to a
go to jail on that
$1,000
one, huh?
fine.
Okay.
Fleeing and eluding a police officer is a 1st degree misdemeanor, and vehicular homicide. Okay, negligently causing the death of another person. So you're not under the influence of alcohol or a drug.
Okay.
You commit a minor traffic offense. You go through a stop sign.
Okay.
But when you go through the stop sign, you hit somebody and you cause their death. That case shows up in the municipal court. Negligently causing the death of another.
So
through a
there was
traffic
no
offense.
criminal intent.
No
I mean, it was
criminal
just negligence. For the benefit of our viewers, is not abiding by ordinary care that we all
Right.
have to one another. So that is the reason then, sometimes you'll hear criticism
Mm-hmm.
of, boy, somebody killed somebody in a car accident and they got a very light sentence. But that's it right there. They didn't mean
Did
to.
not have the specific intent to cause that injury.
Okay. So, Judge, what you're saying then, if somebody actually would be such a tragic turn of events, but a person died, the maximum sentence under that negligence could be only
Up to 6 months or a year.
6 months
Okay.
or a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not even that serious, depending on how the nature of the offense comes through.
Once you are done with your part of it, as
Right.
it's adjudicated, a civil case that would come out of a wrongful death, that'll go.
That's going to be in the commonplace
Commonplace.
because the dollar amount's so much different.
So that will be
Because we also hear in municipal court, we hear civil cases, okay, and
what's the
maximum amount that can be in controversy in a civil case in a municipal court in Ohio, generally, is $15,000.
okay?
So if you're suing somebody for more than $15,000, you have to file that suit in the commonplace court. All right. We have about 4,300 civil cases a year at the Medina Municipal Court.
Wow.
In fact, the municipal docket is the fastest increasing part of our docket. It has increased by 1,000 cases a year over the last 5 years.
Give me an example, Judge, of a suit. I'm getting the $15,000 cap.
Right.
Give me an example of two parties that are going to square off on damages that the maximum you're going to be able to award.
Right.
This is 15. What would be?
You see all kinds of cases. It's really fascinating what people end up suing each other
I
for.
imagine it would be.
Okay, but you're going to see cases from someone who built a fence and they built it on someone else's property instead of on their own
Okay,
they didn't look.
classic law school
Okay.
story there. Bar exam question.
Oh yeah, you have cases where someone has damaged someone's property. They've spray painted the house, done
Okay.
things like that. You get cases, we're seeing a lot of these in our economy now, where people are being sued by credit card companies and other companies for defaulting on the
Not
credit
paying
card
their
payments.
bills. Okay.
That amount has gone up incredibly, and we see hundreds of those cases now every year
I see.
filed in this court from credit card companies from all over the country. They have to file where the
Sure.
defendant lives, where
No,
the person who owes the money
Sure,
lives.
Yeah. No, I mean that
So they
sums it
come
up
here.
there. Those are perfect examples of where damages would not exceed that, and it makes sense. There's going to be a huge volume of
Right.
those, so
Yeah.
they're going to come see you. Judge, we recently had your colleague on, Judge McIlvaine of the Wadsworth Municipal Court, and we talked about driving while impaired, which you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
a couple times today. Judge, what's your position on allowing these kind of cases to be reduced?
That's one of the things that made me decide to run for judge, was how those cases were handled in the Medina Municipal Court. I became judge January 1, 1988. And since that date, I have not permitted a DUI to be reduced to a lesser offense in 22 years. What that means is if you're charged with a driving under the influence of alcohol offense in the Medina Municipal Court jurisdiction, you have several choices. You can plead to the charge,
Okay.
okay, and then we'll proceed to impose a sentence.
All right.
You can enter a not guilty plea and proceed to have a trial. And my position on those, and I think this is a position that most judges are very careful about, is that, and it sounds strange when you say it, I don't care about the outcome of the trial. I want the trial to be fair. That's my job.
Sure.
I shouldn't be worried about what the outcome is. That's the party's responsibility to worry about the outcome.
Absolutely.
If there's a not guilty finding and the person walks out the door, that's how that case was supposed to be resolved. If there's a guilty finding, then I become concerned with
Sure.
how the sentence is going to be imposed. So you get that.